So it's January 21st, the shop update day. I have just put the shop live again out of vacation mode. It's like a few minutes early, but I wanted to make sure that it was up and running before I announce it on Instagram. Not that I expect anyone to be like eagerly waiting for my announcement. Like, no one's gonna see my Instagram post because I don't have that many followers and I don't post often enough for Instagram to actually push my posts out to my followers. So I expect like my parents might see it, a couple of my friends, not anyone who's actually gonna buy anything, but that's fine. I'm still announcing it on Instagram because I don't really have anywhere else to announce it, but once I've got that post up, I'm going to be putting my phone away for the day because otherwise I will just be constantly checking for nothing, I guess. I mean, I will just be checking to see if I got any sales or anything today, which I'm 99% sure I'm not going to get any because I don't usually get them on an update. I'm having a lot of feels 1 year after my like shop launch, or like this version of the shop launch, because last January, I got the entire shop set up in like 3 weeks. I started right at the beginning of January and I was just like, I'm gonna get my shop set up this month. I was gonna take like 3 months to do it, and I was like, no, I'm gonna do it now. And I made like 8 embroideries and I made a bunch of like postcards, and I got all the like shop setup done in 3 weeks, and I was just like, I was on fire. I was just going for it for that whole time, and it was amazing. And I felt great. And then I got like 6 sales on the first day, which I now realize is a lot for a nobody like me. Like, that was a lot. And I was kind of like, I was crushed for some reason. I was very disappointed in that. And I spent the next week just like playing video games and being sad because I didn't get any other orders for like several more days. But since then, anytime I've done an update, I've got like no orders on the update day and very few over the next week or two. And then like I've basically like, I don't think a month has gone by where I haven't made at least one sale, but some months that's it. So like it's not every week that I'm making sales, even when I do an update. So I'm not expecting a lot because I know from my experience doing this, and I haven't changed a lot about how I'm like putting my stuff out there, putting myself out there. It's going to take time to get to the point where people are actually seeing my stuff. So I'm just like making it, because if I don't make anything, then there's nothing to show. So I'm actually not I'm not nervous because I don't expect anything from this, and I'm okay with that. Like, it's a little disappointing and I'll probably be sad at some point, but like, I don't know, like at this point I'm not as like, I don't know, I'm not as nervous about it as I was like last year. But I am still a little like, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying not to have a lot riding on this update. Like, technically, this whole anniversary update is a success in that I did it. The 1 year anniversary is coming up, and I had decided last year that I was going to give it a year to decide if I was going to keep trying or just give up and stop doing the shop. I didn't want to give up on the shop before a year had passed, basically, because within 2 weeks I was ready to give up because I was like, this isn't amazing, therefore I should quit. I saw that date coming up and I was like, the shop is not successful, but like it's not nothing. And I was trying to decide, do I still enjoy this enough to keep going, or do I just want to quit? And I didn't want to quit. I kind of like, there's that part of me that's like, I should just give up. I should just quit. No one wants this, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, all of that might be true. That might be 100% true, that this is pointless. But I didn't want to quit. I wanted to keep going. I wanted to keep making stuff. And so I did. And the fact that seeing that, date come up was like the motivation to get me to make more stuff, to make more art. Like, I hadn't made art in a long time, so it was kind of a good push for that. And just like, I enjoyed doing that. So really whether anyone buys anything this weekend, this week, whatever, is like, that's all cool, but I succeeded in getting the shop update out there. And the fact is, I spent like 5 weeks leading up to it, which was not a good idea because, like I said, last year I did it all in about 3 weeks, partially because I can only do something for about 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, I have to do something else. I can't keep working on one project, and essentially like the shop update was one big project. It had a lot of little components, but I found that after 3 weeks, I was like, I'd made all the products, I was kind of tired and I wanted to move on. So getting the photos and listings done took forever. I mean, partially there's not been any sun to take good photos. So my photos are not that great, but I did what I could. And also just like I put the listings off till like the last minute because I did not want to do that. Because I've already moved on. I've moved on to making mini albums, and I will go into a bit more about that later. Like I'll try to like film a little bit about that tomorrow or something so that this video can go up early in the week, hopefully Monday. But yeah, mini albums, they're like little photo album scrapbook things that have like interactive flaps and pockets and all sorts of stuff, and you can put your photos in there, you can put your memorabilia, you can put notes, you can write, you can do art, you can like put whatever you want in them. They're just little like memory keepers, or like they make good gifts if you want to like, you know, like I gifted one to my parents when I first learned to make them. Is like I took photos from a trip we'd gone on and I like put it in the album and decorate all the pages and stuff. But like the ones I'm making are for the shop for a future update, hopefully in the next month or two. So they don't have photos in them. I didn't put my own photos in these albums. They're just for you to put your own photos in. And you don't need any like paper crafting knowledge or experience in order to do that. You just like glue photos in or slot them into pockets. That's the great thing about the pockets, is like you don't even have to glue your photos. You can just like stick a photo right in the pocket and then you get to like flip through them. And anyway, I'll go into more about like what those are, because like I had no idea what they were before I started getting obsessed with them. So maybe I can start an obsession for you. Who knows? Like that's something I'm thinking about, is doing like maybe a bit of, I don't know about it if I want to do a tutorial. I'm not really good at teaching. And I did record a little bit of me working on one this morning just to be kind of like intro material. I did completely screw it up and I made it upside down by accident because I wasn't paying attention when I was putting it together. I managed to save it, but I am worried that if I tried to like show making one, I would screw up really bad because I'd be too focused on like trying to get the shots. I'm going off on a tangent. I'm like, I don't know why I'm so tired. And then I turn on the camera and I'm just like, probably because I obviously this is anxiety. Like we get that, right? We get that my like overly eager babbling is an anxiety thing. Obviously, there's no hiding that. But I think my point was that I gave myself too much time to get this shop update ready, and I lost steam and I lost motivation and I lost faith in myself. And I wanted to like just quit so many times. So the fact that I got it, like the shop is open. I did it. I got those things in. I got the new listings made. But yeah, I need to just like keep in mind that I can really only stick to a hobby or an interest, a project, whatever, for about 3 weeks before I have to move on to something else. And I'm now at like almost 2 weeks of doing mini albums. So I think I'm going to try and squeeze another week out. And then I think I'll be done, which is fine because I already have like a dozen of them that I made in that time. And like, I don't actually think anyone's gonna buy these. I mean, like, people don't even buy like the like $10 art prints or whatever. So like, I don't think somebody's gonna buy a mini album that takes hours and hours to construct when it's a thing that no one even knows what it is or why you'd want one. So like I said, I would try to show a little bit about what a mini album is in this video. And I'm also going to do some like flip throughs of some of the ones I made so you can see how they work. that might be a separate video just to kind of show the designs I've done. And then maybe I'll do a tutorial or something. I'm also thinking of doing some sort of like tips, things I wish I learned when I started making them, because if you are interested in getting started, there are some things that might cause frustration if you don't take those into account right away, which, I mean, at the same time, you gotta try stuff yourself. You've gotta see what works for you. Like, no one size fits all. I don't know if there's more that I was like, I'm trying to like keep in mind what I wanted to say when I came on here, and I think just that shop is updated. I did what I could. It's done its job so far in that it got me working on stuff again, and like the fact that I'm now working on mini albums that I'm like looking forward to another shop update where I have like more handcrafted stuff, rather than just being completely defeated. And I think that like, I think I'll be okay. I think I'll be more resilient this time than I was last year. And so like, whether I make 5 sales or 10 sales or 0 sales this week, like, I'll be okay. And that's the other thing I learned from all these updates the past year. Like, I will be okay. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't do well, right? That being said, if you're watching this before the end of January, there's a sale on. It's 15% off if you spend $10 or more. That's $10 Canadian, which is a lot cheaper if you're American. So take advantage of that. Yeah, so that sale's still on until the end of January if you're interested. And that goes for like anything in the shop if you just add up at least $10 worth. So I will check in again at some point and maybe talk a bit about where I plan to go from here. Maybe, I guess. But for now, I'm putting my phone away. I'm gonna go play video games or something, or do laundry, or I don't know, whatever. I'm gonna do a grown-up thing and not play video games all day for Saturday. Is that correct? No, that can't be correct. That can't be correct. Okay, I'm gonna do something else, not look at my phone, and well, first I'm gonna post to Instagram. Then I'm gonna put my phone away, not look at it, and we'll see what happens. All right, so I said I would kind of show you a bit about what a mini album is, and here's just a few of the ones that I've made in the past couple of weeks. I actually made way more than this, but there's just like a few different styles. I made like 5 or 6 of this one, so they're each like decorated differently. So like the papers on them, even if they're the same layout of pages, all the decorating will be different. So this one, you can see this is a card. You can put a photo on there. This flap's open. You can put a photo there. You can stick something in this pocket. You can write on here or put another photo there. It's like there's a lot of options with these. And then this one is designed that this pulls out, which is a little snug, and it's hard to do with one hand while I'm holding it up, but this comes out. It's a kind of card thing again. You can write or put photos, pocket, flap, and then this kind of slots in behind so that it keeps the flaps from opening. Some albums will have magnets that keep flaps from opening, but I try to avoid magnets as much as possible. I occasionally have them. These ones are 2 pockets, and this back pocket goes all the way down to the bottom. And anyway, and then this card you can put a photo on. It slides into here, which you can also like write on the back of that. And then just the page layouts repeat. Here's just like a tag I threw in that you can like write on. Another card with a flap. So that's like one example. And then this one is basically the same style but just vertical. So there's the card and there's the flap. So it's easy to make a bunch of these ones at once because they were the same style and they only had 3 or 4 page layouts in them that just repeated. There's also this style that's like a folio, so it opens like this and you have 2 sides with different layers of stuff in them. And again, there's like things that pull out and have flaps and pockets and all sorts of goodness. This one is a bit more, it's bigger and it's a bit more detailed, and I included you can see those spots where I have removable white paper that has a stamp just to say that that's where you can put a photo of about that size, but it like comes right off. And you replace it with your photos, and just because I feel like these are a bit complicated and it's a bit harder to know like where to put stuff, so I thought it's handy to like suggest where to put photos. Yeah, and this one has like a bunch of different layouts, and they're kind of like, I often like doing symmetrical albums where the pages, like the front inside cover and the back inside cover, are basically the same. And anyway, that's got a photo spot. And anyway, so this is basically what I've been up to lately. And I'm going to do a proper flip through of some of these, just to kind of give you an idea of like a better look at what's in them and how they work. And then I might do a tutorial of making one. I was thinking of making this one because it's super easy and it reuses the same like components in a lot of the different pages. So you only have to cut like a few different sizes of things. So it's like you cut, you know, a flap of a certain size, but you cut like 8 of them and it gets you all the flaps in this whole thing. So it's kind of a simple one for starting out, because I'm guessing not everyone watching this has made mini albums before, but they're fun if you like paper crafting, and they kind of combine a lot of like, you know, fun like math puzzly construction elements of building them, but then also the like decorating with like cutting papers to decorate them and putting papers together and just getting to play with scrapbook paper basically. So hopefully that's somewhat interesting for someone out there. And yeah, but I suspect I will be moving on from mini albums in the near future, and I'm not sure what I'm going to get into next. Okay, so it's the 22nd now, and I'm just gonna record a little bit now because I want to try and get this video up tomorrow. As I suspected, nothing happened with my shop. Okay, well, I mean, it got some views. It got more views than it gets on like an average day. So, you know, that's something. I didn't get any sales. My Instagram post was hardly seen by anyone. Like, I looked at how many accounts it had reached. Hardly any. Like, even some of my like friends and family who always see and like my posts haven't even seen it yet. Like, Instagram does not like my posts and does not like people seeing my posts, even the people who've followed me and decided that they would like to see my posts, which I know is just like a problem for everyone on Instagram. It's just that when you have hardly any followers to start with, Instagram deciding to not show your stuff to all your followers means you only get a tiny little sliver of people up there seeing what you're doing. So it's still disappointing that like nothing happened. Like, it was exactly what I expected, and yet there's that like silly little part of me hoping to be pleasantly surprised and I was not. Again, like I said, it's silly because I didn't do anything to make this time different, really. I mean, I did and I didn't. Like, I think I put more effort and intention into the stuff I was making, and I put a bit more intention into sharing the stuff I was making online beforehand, which I don't always do. So it's like I have done a bit, but it's like I haven't grown. I don't have an audience to share to yet. So I think I need to build that up. And honestly, before I started doing all this shop stuff, when I was like kind of figuring out what my plans were for the new year back in December, I thought I'm going to focus on building an audience for my stuff on Instagram, YouTube, whatever, like finding people who like the stuff that I like, people who like the stuff that I make, people who want to see the stuff that I make or whatever I'm sharing, and then try and see if I can grow the shop a bit from that audience. But like primarily what I want is just finding people who like the stuff I like. Like that's kind of like more important than the number of sales in the shop. I'd rather just like find these people, right? Because like I feel like if they like the stuff that I like, I'd like the stuff that they like, so they might be able to like lead me to other things that I might like and have that kind of back and forth. So like that's really what matters. But it's hard to not get caught up in like looking at numbers of follows, likes, sales, and thinking that equates to how many people like me as a person, which I don't expect to be very many anyway, but that's also not what those numbers mean. So yeah, so like when I kind of decided to like, I'm gonna put more effort into the shop like right at the beginning of the year, I knew it was a bit of a risk to like try and expect something different to happen when I haven't put in the time and effort required to build up the audience that I'm, sharing stuff with. So I just really wanted to make that stuff, and I think that it's good to have stuff in the shop so that as I build an audience, as I find people who like these things, I have somewhere to direct them. If they're like, hey, if you want some of this stuff in your own home, if you want to see some of this stuff yourself, if you want to have something on your wall, if you want to give something as a gift, if you want to just say, hey, I think you're neat, let me have a sticker, whatever, then it's there. So I think that's also good to have it there, even if it's not like there was already an eagerly waiting audience for that launch, It's like, rationally, I'm like, this is fine. And I don't mean that in like I'm drinking coffee in a burning building, this is fine. I mean like literally it's fine. But then there's just like the part of me that's like, but what if magically somehow I made a bunch of sales from this update and like suddenly I was an actual real artist? But that's not going to happen just by magic. So one step at a time. And now, speaking of steps, I'm just going to kind of like let you know what my next steps are. Because I don't want to fall into the habit where I just get disappointed about a shop update and then feel bad about myself that I can't make more stuff and I can't do more shop stuff. Like that's why my shop updates were so inconsistent last year, because I had to have a recovery period of like feeling like a loser. And like it's really hard to make art. It's really hard to share your art. It's really hard to do anything when you feel like a loser and it's like there's no point in making your art. And then maybe there is no point in making my art, but like I have to at least feel like there is a point. I have to at least tell myself that it's worth continuing. So I'm going to do that. I'm still doing my weekly art medium challenge, which I don't think I've talked about on here yet, but I might do a video about that in a little bit. It's not going great. I've only done like 1 or 2 spreads per week. Because I feel very art blocked. Like I'm crafty right now. I'm really into the crafts, but the art stuff is just, it feels a little like I did too much too fast in December and I'm drained. So I'm going to kind of slowly do more like sketchbook art. I think that's what I'm going to focus my art is just like for me, for sketchbooking. I share it on Instagram just as kind of like a, I like the idea. Somebody said, I don't remember who it was saying that like Instagram should be kind of like your sketchbook where you just share like unfinished things you're practicing and learning, anything you're working on, whatever, and not worry about it being perfect finished art or not. And I love that. So that's how I'm going to try and kind of look at it from here on out. And then like the finished art that I like a lot can become things I put in the shop if I want to it someday, but like I don't have to only make good stuff for Instagram. And I mean, some might say I've never made good stuff for Instagram, so. But yeah, other than that, crafting wise, like I said, I'm doing the mini albums. I showed a little bit of a peek into what the mini albums are like. It was really hard to show at that angle, so I'm gonna get a better video of like flipping through some of the layouts so you can really see how they work. And I think it would be helpful to show a video of making one, whether it's a tutorial or just sort of like a make an album with me and like chat through the process or something, because it's really fun and it's really interesting, and it's one of those things, like, honestly, while not a lot of people know what a mini album is, if you just say like, oh, I make interactive mini albums, no one knows what that is. But when they see one, they are intrigued. Like, people are intrigued because it's like, how the heck did you make this? Like, people are impressed. You make something with like a chipboard cover and hinges on it, and people are impressed. Because, I mean, like, I didn't know how to do that stuff until I learned. I mean, I guess no one knows how to do it until they learn, but like, it seems a lot like trickier than it is. So it's like, it seems a lot more impressive, but like it's really easy. But it's like, if you don't have the time, materials, desire to make those things, but you still like them, then you can just like buy one that's completed in my shop when that happens at some point. But yeah, that's another thing coming up, is another update in the next couple months with some more handmade stuff. I might be getting into embroideries again soon. I'm not sure. Like, I have some ideas for embroideries, which I have not had ideas for embroideries for a long time. But I also haven't done embroideries for a while, so I need to do some that are like just for me first to kind of get back into it. And so like, I don't know if I'm feeling that. I also I have more things I want to try this year. Like, I keep finding myself attracted to people who do lino cut prints and printmaking and that kind of thing, and people who do like polymer clay jewelry. I've not done those things for years, over a decade. Like, I was like a kid last time I did polymer clay stuff, and it was like early university when I did printmaking the last time. Like, yeah, we're talking at least almost 15 years ago. So that's how long it's been since I've done printmaking and polymer clay. So I don't know how to do any of that stuff anymore. Like, I have a basic idea, but like, I would need to watch some tutorials and actually get some of the stuff to do that, because I might have lino cut tools. Now that I think of it, I might still have mine from university, but I would need to get like all that, the blocks and stuff, and it's like a big thing that I don't really need to undertake another hobby, but it just seems fun. And like, I could do some cool things, and I could convert some of my designs into different, like, I think it'd be really cool to have like some of my art where it's like, I started as, you know, a sketch in my sketchbook, and then I make it also into an embroidery and also into a lino cut print, and also like, it'd be cool to have like different ways of displaying my art on different types of things, because I think art on things is cool. So yeah, I guess we'll just sort of see how things go over the next few weeks. I'm not going to be doing weekly vlogging anymore. Like, I just wanted to kind of do like the weeks leading up to the shop update, and I thought it would be a lot more interesting than it was, but like, I don't do that much. There's a lot of like boring stuff that wasn't interesting to film, and I also forgot / didn't want to film a lot of the time, and also there's not been any sunlight. So this whole like vlogging the shop update thing was a bit of a fail, but I mean, I got some experience doing this stuff. I kind of know a bit more about what not to do. Although, that being said, I know that like making my videos like 90% just me rambling on camera is not really a vlog. and is not really what people want when they're like, oh, studio vlog. Like, they want to see people actually doing art and stuff, not just like bleh. So I might have to like change the way I label these videos, but they're actually like, it's nice to just like chat. Yeah. So I'm trying to think about like what I want to focus on now that the shop update is done and I don't really have to worry about that right now. So I think I want to focus a bit more on getting better at making videos and learning to enjoy making videos, because so far not really enjoying it, and it's been a bit of a chore that I've not wanted to do, hence not filming anything until the end of the week and being like, I have to upload this in 2 days. I'm hoping it will get fun, because I know a lot of people say that it's a more fun experience to post on YouTube than on Instagram, because you get to put a bit more effort and time into your posts and people spend more time engaging with it, and you get to share a bit more of behind the scenes, which is I think where the interesting stuff is. Like, most of the artists I find that I like have YouTube videos, and I see kind of their process of their art, their process of their just being a creative person. And I find it really interesting, and it makes me like their art even more. I don't know that this is gonna be the case, but I don't know. This is getting so weird, and I'm tired, and I just want to go. We're playing Horizon Forbidden West now because we got a PlayStation for Christmas. PlayStation 4, not 5. No, who can find a 5? I mean, maybe it's better now, I don't know, but like, last time I looked into getting a PS5, that was not happening. But anyway, we got a PS4 used for Christmas, and so we're playing Horizon Forbidden West because we did Zero Dawn a few months ago, because it's on Steam. But we didn't want to wait until Forbidden West came out on Steam, because, yeah, we need to know what Aloy gets up to. And, yeah, so we're just basically playing that all weekend, like responsible adults. Yeah, I mean, that's probably going to be it for this video. I'm going to try and like cut out some of the babbling so it's not super long, and then see what other stuff I do. I have some ideas for, again, mini album videos. I'm thinking of doing like a planner video of like my planner lineup for the year. I know it's late, but I thought doing a lineup video were like a month in, so it's like, it's been a month. How am I actually using these planners? Because I'm one of those people who has like 7 planners and then uses 3 of them. And so like, I'm going to be honest about that. I'm going to be honest about like which parts are working, which parts aren't. What am I going to try to do? Am I just going to like, I'm trying to be pretty chill about using my planners. Like, if it was fun to set up, cool. If I don't find use in it right now, that's fine. If I find use in it later, also fine. Like, I'm not gonna like stress too much that I'm like, oh, I spent all that time setting up this planner and then I hardly ever use it. Like, okay, well, that means I don't need it right now, but I might need it later. It's fine. And yeah, hopefully I can get back into doing some like sketchbooky art and maybe share some of that. If we ever get the sun back, I will try to record more like arty videos. It's just, I mean, first of all, I do most of my art like at 5 a.m. when it's dark anyway, but then it's also like there's never enough light for the art to look, the colors to look good, and I don't know. And then I might also, if I finish, I have a sketchbook that's almost done, and if I can finish it, maybe I'll do a sketchbook tour, which I don't, my sketchbooks are bad. Like, I know people are like, I have my pretty sketchbook and I have my ugly sketchbook, and I'm like, I have 5 sketchbooks and they're all butt ugly. But like, I use them like a sketch. Like, this is what I think sketchbooks are for, is for just like slapping paint around and scribbling and like making notes and testing colors and just like being bored and doodling and experimenting. I don't know, like just whatever. But part of that is that I don't expect anyone to look through the entire thing. And yet I might just show you the whole thing. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if there's something super embarrassing. I mean, I think most of my fan art is in a different sketchbook. It's not that I'm embarrassed about doing fan art. It's just that drawing people in sketchbooks versus on the iPad where I can like edit and adjust and change things infinitely. I need a lot of help when I draw people. Which, by the way, if you're wondering, if you've been to my Instagram and you're like, what are you talking about? You haven't drawn a person in 2 years. I only draw fan art. I only draw people when I'm drawing fan art, and all my fan art is on a different Instagram, which is in the links below. But like, that's where I draw people. So it might look like I don't ever draw people, but I sometimes draw lots of people. They're just all characters from things that I like. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna wrap up this video. Gonna try and get it edited and out Monday, if not then Tuesday, and see what comes next. If you've been watching my vlogs at all, if you watch any of them, including this one, let me know. Like, I don't know if anyone, like, I don't think anyone's sitting through the whole thing. Like, based on the stats, I think everyone checks out within 2 minutes or something. But if you do watch the entire video, like, let me know. I'm curious. So, with that, I thank you for watching if you have, or thank you for, I don't know, attempting to watch. Made a valiant effort, even if you didn't get all the way to the end. And I will be back with something else later. Anyway, see ya.